of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
All right, good evening, everyone. For those that do not know me, my name is Priest Holmes. I'm honored to be here this evening. I'm also very proud of the inductees that sit to my left and to my right. You're all an inspiration to all the athletes and the young people across this nation. It's truly an honor and well-deserved to you all. So let's just get to it. I'm really excited about this evening. I'm glad that I'm able to participate, and I'm going to take up my 5 minutes. I know we got a stopwatch going. And so if you see Robert stand up, that means my time is up. I need to stop. But one of the things that is just so exciting is that just much like Ms. Guidry and then also like Strahan did, he talked about his family. So I'm going to take you through a little memory lane. It'll be quick, but it'll be about my family. I won't really tell a lot of football stories, but you'll get to know who I am as a person and as an athlete. As you could see on the screen, you saw me as 31 or you saw me as 33 at the University of Texas, but this won't take long. It'll just talk about my family, and then you'll get a chance to learn a little bit about me. So I'll just kind of start over here to my son, Jacobin. I'm really proud of him because he's given me 2 grandchildren, and in having those grandchildren, I developed another name. My name is Pop Pop. And so that's one thing that you can learn about me. To my daughter, Priestlyn, when dad's pain level is at a level 10 and I can't get out the bed and I'm just tired, she's the one daughter that I know that will go downstairs, she'll mop the floor, she'll clean up the kitchen, she'll put up the groceries, she'll make sure she'll wash the clothes, and then I'll come down and everything is put where it needs to be, and she's only 13, so thank you, Priestlyn. And then I go to my nephew, Jediah. He's 2 of the tallest people that are in our family. He's over 6 foot, but we also have another nephew that's 6'8". So they definitely, if we ever need security, I know who I can also always come to stand out and check the doors. And then my son, Corian, I'm really proud of him as well for several reasons. And one thing that I recently found out about him is that he knows how to do taxes. And so he came home for spring break, and I knew he was in accounting, and he goes to Mary Hart Baylor, which is just in Belton. And I knew that he was going to school to be an accountant, but then I found out that he was looking towards 300 hours to become a CPA. And he says, matter of fact, Dad, I'm already doing my hours, so I actually can help you with your taxes. And so I found out about him, and I really like that. And then to Brianna Friedman, his girlfriend that's here tonight, one of the things that her and I have in common is that we're very, very rough when it comes to board games. We do not like to lose. So I like the fact that she has that temperament. She shares it with me, and she also has the heart of my son. And then also I go to another table. We have some incredible people here. My sister Marcia, she's a graduate of the University of Baylor, or Baylor University. She graduated there with her bachelor's degree in sociology, and then she went on to get her master's. I've also entrusted her with everything to do with my family and my kids, and so I'm really proud of her about being here. And then my sister Tanya, I learned all my first things from my sister Tanya, and the reason why I got to tell you this is because there were several things that I did for the very first time. Those things were done with her. And then one of the things is that she worked as a manager at a Chinese restaurant, if you could believe it or not. And this is my senior year in 1991. I decided to go get a job working with my sister at this Chinese restaurant. But lo and behold, I'm there for the first week or a few days into training camp for my high school senior year. And even though that talked about winning the state championship, that might not have ever came about unless it was for my coach, Coach Vermeil. And the reason why I say that is because Coach Vermeil came up to my sister's job and he says, what in the world are you doing? You're supposed to be at camp. 2 days has already started in high school, my senior year. I said, well, Coach Visiting, I just need to try to make a little bit of money. He says, trust me on this. I guarantee you if you leave this job, you'll thank me in years to come. And so Coach Visiting is here. And so one of the things that's really interesting about Coach Visiting and his wife, Mrs. Visiting, I was sitting up here talking to AP, Adrian Peterson, and I was saying, man, I feel so bad I didn't get a chance to let Coach Visiting know that my induction was going to be this weekend. And lo and behold, as I'm talking to AP up here, telling him about Coach Byzantine is walking down the aisle. And I said, Adrian, my coach is actually right there. He actually came. So, Coach, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Miss Byzantine. Thank you, Coach V. I really appreciate that. And then I have some others that have helped me and volunteer with my foundation. We have Lachelle Jackson. She's definitely been a big inspiration in helping and supporting all of my events that we do for kids and nonprofits. Deatra, she's come in from Houston, Texas, and she's also been she's an accountant and a CPA. And so one of the things that she loves is numbers and figure things out. So I remember just going back to 2003 when I broke the touchdown record. It wasn't really a very hard thing to do at all. I just divided the number of games by the number of touchdowns and how many did I need to get. And I decided to say if I can get 1 or 2 touchdowns every game, I know what that's going to put me at. And if I have at least one game that I have at least 4 touchdowns, that'll get me to 20. And then as I got closer and closer, I started to see that I was very close to the Marshall Faulk record and the Emmitt Smith record. And so by that time, when we finished up the season playing Chicago, I needed 3 touchdowns to get to 27. And that's how that happened. It was no other magic other than that. Thank you. And then also, I have other people here as well that are helping me out with my foundation. Miss Keisha Edwards, she's done a great job. Right now, I just did the last 6 years as the chairman for all former players through our union, the NFLPA. And we have a local chapter, it's the San Antonio and Austin chapter. So for any players that retire in the area, they'll become a part of the chapter, whether it's the Dallas chapter, Houston chapter, or San Antonio chapter. And Ms. Keisha has been our administrative secretary that's worked with all of our chapter presidents since 2010. So I appreciate you being here as well. And then I keep coming down around to the table, and I have my buddy that I grew up with. We went to high school together, Mr. Christopher Bush and his 2 lovely daughters, Kennedy and Viviana. And so I'm really proud because he goes all the way back to the neighborhood that we grew up. And even to this day, we're still friends. I got a chance to see his beautiful daughters grow up. And one is finishing high school, the other is in college. So I'm greatly appreciative of your friendship. And then I have Deidre Smith. We share our youngest daughter together. And we've had a tremendous ride. And I've been a part of her life for so many years. But I'm really proud of her today because she's finishing up, getting her master's in the dental field, and I think that just being a part of her story and seeing her finish and overcome the obstacles and finally get her master's in dentistry, it's a beautiful thing. And then my lovely youngest daughter, Cheyenne, she's always a refreshing spirit, a lovely smile, has such an innocent heart, and loves to play with all of the younger kids. And so there's things that we do in the community, and she's always the one that's right there by my side, always willing to volunteer and always help me out in the community. And then, of course, as I come around to my family, of course, there's my father, Herman Morris, and my mother, Norma Morris. Earlier, when I was in the press conference, they asked me, what's one word that talks about your entire career? What would it be? And I think a couple of people in here would tell you what that is: baseboards. And when I said that, a lot of people looked at me and says, why would baseboards be something that would be something to describe you? And I said, that's just something that I learned at an early age: attention to detail, and then also letting your ego go aside. And that while everybody was outside playing, while everybody was doing the things that they love to do, I was in there scrubbing baseboards. I come from a military family. My father is Army, my mother is Air Force, and I think with that discipline, what that showed me is that while I've always been working, and even though I might have been passed aside or looked over like most times when you walk in a house, you just look right over the baseboards. But one thing I do know for sure is that discipline that I learned from my parents and them having me clean those baseboards throughout the month of every year as I was growing up, I think that's the one thing that when you say me or you think about me, think baseboards, because that's the one thing that attention to detail is what helped me become the successful athlete that you saw on the board today. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Thank you all for having me here in Waco, Texas. I love you all. Thank you.